And on April 15th, we all sent in our tax dollars. Here, we said to our administration, spend it wisely for me. Go to the market and purchase what I need to make my life better. But we didn't give them a marketing list. So those busy little budgeters put their heads together, and here we go again. 65 cents out of every dollar for Pentagon products. 65 cents out of every dollar for war, past, present, and future. 65 cents out of every dollar for death and destruction. I saw the budget. Do you know that it now costs $18 million a year to service and maintain our military cemeteries? And they're running out of space. How many more cemeteries will we be buying for our sons? But that's just a tiny part of the war money. Most of it is for what they call our security. And our security, defined by the Pentagon, lies in adding to their inventory of insanity. Pentagon products. They have defoliants that have produced thousands of deformed babies born in Vietnam. And where do you think they store those defoliants before they send them over? In our backyards. They have nerve gas that paralyzes and kills. And where do you think they test it? In the air, over our backyards. 6,000 sheep in Dugway, Utah, didn't die of heart attacks. And that $1 million check the Pentagon wrote to pay for the loss to the ranchers, again, was your money. You bought the stuff that killed the sheep, and then you paid for the dead sheep, and when lamb prices go up, you'll pay for that too. And when Okinawa said, get that nerve gas out of here, and Canada said, don't bring it near here, our Pentagon decided to put it on trains and carry it through our backyards across the country, load it on ships, and dump it in the Atlantic Ocean. But the public said no, and so the Pentagon came up with a new security plan. Bring it into Seattle and take it down to Oregon and store it. Perfectly safe, they said. And then suddenly came a change in orders. Everyone in western Washington and Oregon out. And where were they going to go? And while Congress authorizes a cut of $28 million in cancer research, we learn that the Pentagon has spent a fortune on botulism toxin. Botulism toxin. 1 ounce of which effectively dispersed could kill every human being in North America. President Nixon told us they would destroy all of the bacteriological materials until the Pentagon explained to him that for security, they need them around to develop the antitoxins. In a period of only 8 years, 1,500 accidents were recorded in the germ warfare laboratories of Fort Detrick, Maryland. Do you know anyone in Maryland? Well, maybe they should get out too. And gas warfare. Why am I telling you in the Bay Area about that? Your sons and daughters got it firsthand at Berkeley when the National Guard tested some gas weapons for riot control which had been used in Vietnam. We bought that gas with our taxes. They're using it on our sons and daughters, and they're paying for it too with lung damage. Now you know all about napalm. What do you know about white phosphorus? White phosphorus ignites itself in contact with the air. Frank Harvey reported in Air War Vietnam, and I quote, "In the civilian hospital in Can Tho, I saw a man who had a piece of white phosphorus in his flesh. It was still burning." And what do you know about guava bombs, pineapple bombs, rock eyes, and lazy dogs? Such lovely names. Sometimes Honeywell doesn't make any bones about it. They call one simply and unpoetically anti-personnel fragmentation bomb. It's about the size of a baseball, and it contains 250 ball-bearing-like steel pellets embedded in a metal casing. This weapon was specifically designed to be used against civilian populations. And I quote, "The pellet tears the flesh and smashes the bones of all humans in the area while leaving buildings intact." Guava bombs, pineapple bombs, rock eyes, lazy dogs, they're all anti-people bombs. They don't knock out steel bunkers. They don't knock out big guns. They won't even go through a sandbag. All they go through is unprotected human flesh. And soldiers know enough to get out of their way, but children don't, and mothers don't, and peasants don't. Maybe they're learning by now, not that they can do much about it anyway. And the ultimate insanity is the stockpiling of weapons that even the military knows we dare not use. One 10-megaton nuclear bomb has firepower equal to all the explosives that have been set off in all the wars in human history. We have 4,100 nuclear bombs ranging in power from 1 to 25 megatons. And now, although we have almost twice the number of warheads the Russians have, enough to destroy Russia's 50 largest cities, not once, but 15 times over, the Pentagon is about to deploy MIRV, multiple independently targeted vehicles, which will multiply our nuclear weapons 3 to 10 times. And the military is beginning this multiplication process next month at the very time we're trying to hold talks with the Russians to limit strategic armaments. Now, I believe in defense. I don't deny that sometimes it's a dangerous world, and in a dangerous world, a country must plan its defense. But how many times over do we have to be capable of killing everyone on God's green earth in order to be secure? And are we made more secure by multiplying the number of weapons? There have been some very close calls. Dr. Ralph Lapp, one of the scientists who developed the atomic bomb, wrote a report of a plane loaded with nuclear warheads which crashed in South Carolina. 4 of the 5 safety catches on the bombs opened. And if the 5th catch had gone too, the entire state would have been wiped out. This was denied by the Pentagon and later confirmed in congressional hearings. Ever hear of a place called Goose Creek? If the Polaris nuclear warheads stockpiled there went off accidentally, they would take all of South Carolina and parts of North Carolina and Georgia. Experts at the Mershon Center for Education and National Security have estimated on the basis of the number of weapons stored in the United States, the miles per year covered in transporting them, the crash rate of weapons carriers, that, and I quote, "the chances are 1 in 100 that a U.S. nuclear weapon will explode accidentally sometime in the next 10 years. This is where nuclear weapons are located and stockpiled within the United States. We've heard the sales pitch for years. You know how it goes. Well, where do you want to fight the commies? Do you want to fight them in Union Square or Times Square or maybe Wilshire Boulevard? Well, we've learned something, that while our sons have been sent out to the jungles of the world to fight the enemy is here. The enemy is in Union Square and in Times Square and especially on Wilshire Boulevard. It's smog. The enemy is in Appalachia and the ghettos of Harlem and Watts, and it's hunger and despair. The enemy is polluted water and polluted air, and the enemy is polluted hope. Well, pollution is not healthy for children and other living things. But while we choke in our cities, our money is spent on nerve gas. And poverty is not healthy for children and other living things. But while millions of children go to bed hungry every night, our scientists are working on better biological weapons to destroy crops. Our cities are burning, and we're devoting our national resources to napalm for the straw huts of Indochina. Why? Because there are profits made on Pentagon products. And there are thousands of companies involved, and some of them are very familiar names to us homemakers and consumers. From the Defense Department's own Defense Industry Bulletin, here are just a few of the most recently awarded contracts. Alcoa, $5,590,000 for rocket motor tubes. They carry fragmentation bombs. General Electric, Progress is our most important product. $5,969,000 for research and development of the Mark 12 reentry vehicle for MERS. Contracts on this item alone are expected to total $40 million. Whirlpool Corporation, $5.1 million for Beehive projectiles. Of course, we know they also make Kenmore and Cold Spot appliances. Bulova Watch Company, $2.6 million. Metal parts for fuses for high explosives. Borg Warner, $15,586,000. Bomb bodies. Honeywell, $268 million for cluster bombs, rockeye, white phosphorus, anti-personnel mines, and other anti-people weapons. Motorola, $1.9 million. Fuses for 40-millimeter shells. Hamilton Watch Company, $9.1 million. Mechanical time fuses for artillery shells. General Motors, $1.15 million. Electronic assemblies for Mk-48 torpedoes. Westinghouse, $16.9 million for Poseidon launcher and handling equipment. I wouldn't be surprised if it carried on the steel belly. You can be sure if it's Westinghouse. Every one of these companies spends millions on you. It's called consumer research. They want to know where you're at so that they can sell you their latest products. Well, let's tell them where we're really at. When we found out about cyclamates, we took them off the market. When we learned that thalidomide deformed our babies, we took it out of the drug line. Now DDT is going, and next year cigarette advertising will be off the television tube. Each day it becomes clearer to us that we consumers must act in self-defense, in defense of the health of our families, of our society. We must stop buying war. At last we know, with all that's under us, and all that's over us, and all that passes across our land, it's like going to sleep each night with a vial of nitroglycerin under our pillows. A larger and larger vial of nitroglycerin under our pillows each night is not security. We must draw the finish line to the arms race, because it is clear that the brilliant technology that took our astronauts to the moon will, if unchecked, take us all to the moon, and without rocket ships. Another Mother for Peace calls upon General Motors, get out of the war business, make us a car that won't pollute our air, and we'll buy it. Another Mother for Peace calls on Dow Chemical, get out of the war business, make us a detergent that won't pollute our waters, and we'll buy that. Another Mother for Peace calls on General Electric, get out of the war business, design us cities that are livable. And another Mother for Peace calls upon Whirlpool, get out of the war business, develop new disposable equipment, clean up our landscape. And we call upon Bulova Watch, and we call upon Hamilton Watch to recognize that the time is now. Honeywell, Alcoa, Borg Warner, Reynolds, Zenith, Motorola, RCA, get out of the war business. Make us the products that give quality to life. Make us proud again of our American know-how. Because war profits are without honor in this desperate time. This time of our coming together must not be the culmination of this special effort, but the beginning of a stronger commitment, the beginning of working with each other and with our young to the end of war, to the end of killing, and for peace.